You get a punch in the face in 1986. It creates a certain behavior in you for decades and decades and decades. You get to 2026 and you are still beholden to that punch in the face. You've got certain behaviors, you're eating too much, you're eating too much sugar. Then you stop the externalized addiction, you stop eating so much, and then you're starting to feel something. And then you start to get back to this kind of level playing field inside yourself. Then you start to feel peaceful in 2026. What happens when peace looks back on this punch in the face in 1986? That's wisdom. I do look forward to these conversations.
They're deadly.
Yes.
Let's go. We've already started. Welcome to the Magic Minds podcast. This is a conversation with love. Will it be though?
It could be a bit triggering. It could be very triggering.
It could be a bit triggering, but everything I do these days is sailing towards love. Anything that's not love must die. And let's have the conversation. Thomas has been on the podcast before. Tommy Ellis, my friend, my pal, my mentor, an amazing guide to me. If you haven't seen the podcasts that we've done already, please go back and watch them. They're incredible. And they're stepping stones. You'll see the evolution of my journey. You'll see the difference from the first podcast to the second. This is our third one.
Is it?
Yeah, this is our third one. The last one we done was a year ago.
No way.
And the one we done before that was a year ago.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And the feedback from both podcasts has been incredible.
Really?
Yeah, like people have said, like there's a lady in the group, and I can say her name, in the Light Being group or the Satsang group that we have, Trish.
Yeah.
She has listened to the podcast, the first one, so many times.
Right.
Again and again and again, and that's what she has told me, and it just, the information has dropped. It's dropped. It might be challenging to digest for some people. But if you're invested on sailing in the direction of peace, love, joy, truth, that's what it requires.
Yeah, and honesty. And the thing about Trish, which is just really, really interesting, is the quality of that lady's questions is just off the charts. And what she's done at her stage in life to ask these questions and get on the right side of some of this stuff, it's just, she's mind-blowing to me. I think you should do a podcast with her. She's the crack, man.
Me and Trish have sat together. I actually have referenced Trish. I've used her when I talk about the work, when I go and I do speaking events or whatever. We have sat down and, I said to her one time, how would you say about the work that we've done? How would you describe that? And she said to me, when we first sat together for a lot of time, she said, I wanted to loaf the head off you.
Yeah.
So what she's pointing to there is anger, irritation, frustration. And she was so honest. She says, now I just want to hug you. So what she's saying is, I've moved from a place of anger, irritation to peace, love, joy.
Yeah.
There's a bit more balance and ease in our system. I'm paraphrasing, I probably didn't get it exactly right. But the honesty, I used to love just sitting with her. She's deadly.
She is deadly. It would be great to get her on a podcast, and because it's fascinating that she's been so many decades on the planet in a particular form factor. She's investigated some of this stuff in the way that we do, and she's completely different. Yeah. Like, she's having a completely different experience.
And she has been through, we won't get into her stuff, but she's been through some challenging stuff that would rock and knock people, you know? And I used to say to her, like I say to me, Ma, at your age, the way that you're navigating through life is so impressive. It's amazing.
Incredible.
And it can get pushed past really quickly, but you have to acknowledge that the superhero winner is obvious to me or you.
Yeah.
We see and go, fucking that's deadly.
Yeah, it's huge. And she's very excited about, she's one of these people that's very excited about this work. About these ideas, about this type of investigation and all of that sort of stuff. So, So this conversation that we're having spawned from the idea. There was a conversation on our WhatsApp group which was rooted in the title of a book called The Body Keeps Score by Bessel van der Kolk. That was the idea. And a neuroscientist, a clinical neuroscientist, recently came out and said, does it keep score? Like, did we just accept that? And what, you know, what's the story? Like, what's actually going on? So that can be quite a triggering idea, especially if your mortgage is being paid by being a somatic therapist. You know what I mean? Fucking emperor's got no clothes all of a sudden. You're like, Jesus, it looks like I'm the emperor. Do you know what I mean? You can kind of get caught out with some of this stuff.
Sure, yeah.
So there was a story I came across recently of a woman who was very badly sexually abused for about 4 to 6 years. And she was somewhere between 10 and 16 years of age. And decades and decades of turmoil and difficulty and stuff going on with her ensued. And absolutely, that abuse was the platform for an awful lot of installations in her system where she was compensatory. She was compensating all the time for this absolutely indescribably difficult thing that happened to her. Okay. Decades and decades and decades, like 4 decades, 5 decades later, she is on a street and she spots the guy that abused her. She's been doing work on herself and this, that, and the other, and she runs up to him, knocks him on the shoulder, he turns around, and she said, you did this and you did that, and she lit up and she said what she believed she needed to say. And he said to her, in a very posh English type, colonial type accent, he said, I had absolutely no idea that had that effect on you. I had no idea that had that effect on you. And yeah, I'll see you later. No apology, no nothing. And she was absolutely distraught by the fact that she had confronted this energy that was an absolute monster in her world, in her thoughts, in her feelings. And he just disregarded it, dismissed it, didn't. And when he walked away, she had a spontaneous awakening. She had this spontaneous Eckhart Tolle level awakening. She switched on and she said to her, something said to herself, I was abused for 4 to 6 years severely by that man that's now walking down the road. However, for 40 to 50 of those years, I was the one that abused myself. Whoa. I was like, no, she said it. She said the thing out loud that nobody wants to say, which is, that man did do what he did do, but after a certain amount of time, she knew in that instance that she was the one that had abused herself for that decade, then that decade, then that decade. She had taken over the reins of her original abuser and started to do it to herself. So, that's an amazing insight. That's an amazing insight. So the bulimia that she had, did he cause it? Or was she the one acting out on that? The anorexia she had, did he cause it? Or was that more her responsibility? The alcoholism that she endured, did he cause it? Or did he make, well, like when she was 35, did he make her go to the bar and get drunk? Or did she have something to do with that? That's really tricky for people to have this conversation.
Sure.
Really tricky.
Like, I'm doing somersaults in my brain thinking about this because I can relate to all of
All
that.
of that.
You're talking about me
Yeah.
in that story.
Yeah.
As in the behaviours based on an experience I had as a child.
Yeah.
And I have done some stuff to this body. I have done some things
Yeah.
at bars 35. Like Aunt you said, I can copy and paste here.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck.
So when the original wound gets locked into the psyche and to the body, let's say, at what point, this is hard to say, but at what point does that original wound become an excuse for me to hate myself over time? At what point does that original wound become an actual addiction inside myself over time, where I can use my story from 1975, 1985 as an excuse to keep drinking, as an excuse to stay bulimic, as an excuse to have an eating disorder, as an excuse to be a recreational drug addict or a pharmaceutical grade drug addict? At what point am I responsible for me and it's not the responsibility of the original wound? Where's that line? And what we're trying to do in these conversations is we're trying to close that refractory period where we can say to somebody, that did happen you. That was absolutely horrific, absolutely. But there's a tough question for a lot of people, which is it happening now? More than likely not.
But you're still acting out of the feelings, emotions, the hormones of that event that you've been replaying in your mind. Because I have.
Yeah.
I was focused on the behaviours, being in a bar at 35, meeting this girl, drinking this drink, smoking, snorting, predicated on something bad happened to me. Forget the details of what happened, but the flavour of it wasn't nice. So what I was really getting away was the flavours of what wasn't nice. But I'm bringing it everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Take away the script, take away the actions and the behaviours or whatever happened. That flavour was driving me to do that.
100%.
And I took no responsibility for that.
Now, that's a
Consciously
big
and unconsciously, I abused this body.
Yeah.
The drink, the drugs, the sex, the. Yeah, but it's predicated on that something bad happened to me years ago.
Yeah.
And I just kept doing it.
Absolutely. And we do know that severe emotional abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, psychological abuse, we know absolutely it has a detrimental effect on the autonomic nervous system. It absolutely does. We're not saying that it doesn't. Now, how long are you gonna use what you've went through to excuse your behavior in 2026? How long are you going to use the story that moves through you, still moves through you, until such time as you say, that story's over? And that's what that man did for that woman at that time. She ran after him. She had a spontaneous awakening. She got it. She ran up to him, tipped him on the shoulder and said, thanks, I got it. He didn't know what was happening. She walked away. She got it. Something happened in her energy system. She woke up that he was a monster in her story. Absolutely, totally understandable. And when she was free, she became free in the moment. Could she have been free a decade earlier? 2 decades earlier? 3 decades earlier? Fuck.
This isn't.
Who wrecked her life? Did he wreck her life? Or did she wreck her life with the idea that he wrecked her life? That's different.
That's gonna be.
Oh,
yeah.
Don't put this on the internet.
And this is a conversation. I had a conversation with a family member last night, and they were saying, "I'm gonna. This person's gonna come over. This person's gonna come over. Are you okay? Like, is that okay? Because I did." And I went, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't have a problem with anybody. You can invite this, and that. I'm cool, and it's not your business how I respond to people.
Yeah,
It's your
yeah,
business
yeah.
to be peaceful inside yourself. But why am I telling you that this person was referring about was someone that I had a difficulty in the past as a child,
Yeah,
that would be deemed by society to be inappropriately touching
yeah,
or laying hands on.
yeah,
But I'm telling you, that is not there.
yeah,
I don't have that.
yeah,
That's gone. Like
yeah,
we're good. And you said to me 3 years ago when we walked around the park that you will walk on the street and you'll see this person, and that won't be there.
yeah.
It's not there.
It'll be there with them because they're not doing this work, but it ain't there with
And
you.
this doesn't justify, this doesn't let
No,
people off. They got their
no,
own walk and they've got their own karmic fucking debt to pay, and they'll do their time
yeah,
inside themselves and outside themselves. This is not a
yeah,
letting people off scot free.
no,
This is setting yourself free from the story you've been telling
yeah,
yourself, the hormones you've been eliciting inside of yourself based
yeah,
on the story, thinking, feeling, thinking, and opening the cage of the prison you've just
yeah,
created for yourself years ago.
yeah. So this lady, let's say, goes and does holotropic breath work all the way through her 30s. Okay, so the trauma is so-called in her body, and she goes and does breath work, holotropic breath work for 10 years to get relief from that trauma. So she's screaming, shouting, hooping, hollering. Is that valid? Okay, have at it. I don't know. Is it valid? So she goes and does that work, and people are saying that it's cathartic. It's a catalyst for releasing the trauma. Explain something to me though. How can screaming your head off in 2020 give you relief from 1986? You're screaming your head off in the same feeling that you had in 1986. How's that giving you relief? It's not giving you relief. It's not. It's scarring your brain in the exact same original way that it was scarred. And what you're doing is using these therapies to re-traumatize your body, to bring your body up to speed that, well, it's 2020, it's 2026, I'm still fucked, never free. That's what those therapies can do when the person believes, I got a monster in my story, I need relief, so I'm going to try scream that relief out. Did it work? Didn't work for her.
And when you say it didn't work, and what we're pointing to is you'll know the tree by its fruits. Do you feel peaceful in your relationship? Do you feel peaceful in your job? You screamed at that breath work, or you screamed at that ayahuasca ceremony, but then does it translate to your everyday life? And that's what I didn't see. And let's go deeper with this, as in neurologically, endocrinologically. Hebb's law is something to remember, and neural plasticity.
Yeah,
When you scream and shout and roar and you bring that stuff up, neurons that wire together fire together. That's Hebb's law.
yeah,
And if you keep saying that same story and crying that same thing, the body will just keep produce the same
yeah,
hormones. It's like when you break your leg and you're all good physically, but you're still worried about that pain. You're still worried about,
yeah,
and that's a neural plasticity. That neural
yeah,
pain plasticity, it's it stays alive because you keep telling. It's why you remember, oh, MacDonald had a farm. That
yeah,
was drilled into you through
yeah.
Hebb's law,
Yeah,
through
it's
memory.
that idiomotor function of why you and I can write on a piece of paper is because the idiomotor function was programmed into our system between 0 and 6 years of age. That's why we can write.
Yeah.
It was wired and fired into our system.
Okay.
So this lady or you or me had particular traumas occur at particular times, and that is wired and fired into the system. Your system is molded by that event. Okay, so it is molded by that event. It has had a detrimental effect.
Absolutely.
We're
Yeah.
not saying that it
Yeah.
doesn't. What we're saying is when you go into the breath work in 2020 or 2010 trying to get relief, does the reactivation of that trauma in a so-called cathartic way give you that relief? No, it doesn't. It re-traumatizes your body. And this is what's going on across a lot of these modalities, where there's a vested interest in holotropic breathwork facilitators, psychotherapists, psychiatrists, actually having you on the hook, believing you'll get relief from my methodology if you come this way. But actually, what they're doing is they're elongating 1976, 1986 in your body by getting you to talk about it, feel it. In breath work, it's like feel it more. Feel it more. How the fuck does feeling more of 1986 give me relief in 2026? It doesn't. That makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense.
With that being said, right, so we'll hold that there. We're working on the trauma. We're going to excavate it. We're going to feel it a little more. We're going to breathe into it a little bit more in the holotropic, in the breathwork, in the ayahuasca ceremony. Cool. Okay, let's do it. What are you doing the rest of your week? What is the flavors of your conversation? What do you talk about most? What is the, is a light, is a dark, is a trauma, is a love, is a fear, is a creation, right? And just take me as an example. All I ever talked about was trauma. All I talked about was pain. All I wrote was poems about sadness, breaking up, and you broke my heart, and you left me, and you, like, if you cut me open, it was sadness. All I was emanating was was fear and anger and doubt and indecision, right? Just from Monday to Friday, and then I go to a holotropic, or I go to a breathwork, or go to a therapist, and it's like, if you were watching me like you were watching EastEnders, you'd be thinking, all he does is talk about that stuff, but yet he's saying he wants love, he wants peace, he wants happiness, he wants a good relationship, but you're talking about pain and hurt all the time. What do you expect? And I'm just talking about me personally. I wanted a girlfriend, I wanted a good, fun, loving relationship, but you definitely don't embody that, because all you talk about is Gabor Mate, Van der Beek, the body holds the score, trauma, pain, hurt, cried a little bit more. I was like fucking Tiny Tears all day, every day.
Yeah. So we had a walk around the park 3 years ago. We had the conversation that we had, and all I know is that you had done a series of different things to give yourself relief.
Yeah.
Right? When I walked through Herbert Park with you 3 years ago, it seemed to me, and you can clarify whether I'm right or wrong, it seemed to me that everything that you had done up to that point was not giving you the relief that it claimed as a methodology it was going to give you.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
And
So
you can see that in my relationship. You can see the mirror effect, or the mirror principle.
yeah.
I rang you, and 2 hours before that I was sobbing because I broke up with another girl. My relationships, like they were mirroring exactly what was going on inside. But
Yeah.
yet I had all these skills, tools, qualifications, academia.
That's so important to say.
Like, you know, I worked as a cognitive rehab therapist in the National Rehab.
Amazing.
I've done mental health stuff. I wrote a book. I studied meditation.
Yeah.
You know, there's many different things, but yet I wasn't happy inside. I wasn't happy. I was struggling, like, really. But, you know, it was like Mrs. Bouquet, you know, but the windows and the curtains are all grand, but inside it's like just
Mayhem.
chaos.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was helping people
Yeah.
from a place of, I've no arms or legs and I can't swim, but I'm teaching swimming.
Yeah.
And I'm saying to you, I'm calling myself out here. All of this work I'm doing, I'm not getting the happiness that I say I want.
Yeah.
But
So just for everybody that gets to watch this, what are we saying? 3 years ago, Matt and I went for a walk in Herbert Park, and all of the work that Matt had done inside of himself to get relief from the story that he had lived wasn't giving him the relief that it claimed it was going to give, right? So you said to me one time, you said, I'm teaching meditation, but I can't fucking meditate.
Well, you said to me, do 45-minute meditation. I'm like, 45 fucking minutes?
You fucking joking? I can't sit still for 45 minutes.
And I'm like, And he was like, but you teach meditation. You have men coming to you. You have, and I said to you, no one has ever said that to me before. No one has pointed to that. You're claiming to help people, and you're in a fucking hoop.
Yeah. And you're absolutely mental. Mental. Right? And that's, and I get that. I get that. And what we know is after that walk around the park, after we started to have a series of conversations over time, these egoic structures that were in place started to be seen, and that would pop, and that would pop, and that would pop, and that would pop. And I now know unequivocally that since that walk 3 years ago, you have more relief, peace, kindness, care, warmth, love, all of those higher frequency feelings. You have more of them in place now than ever before as a result of doing those, like all of that stuff you'd done before, that didn't lead to peace. From that conversation over the last 3 years, you've checked out this, you've owned that, you've done work inside yourself in a very, very different way, and now you're getting the relief, right?
Absolutely.
So we know what works.
Sure.
And the original idea for this conversation is, so the body keeps score, okay? So I was traumatized. I go out into the marketplace of unconscious bad ideas and I try and get relief. I smoke 5-methoxydimethyltryptamine, that's gonna do it for me. No, it's not. Smoking frog exudate is not gonna give you it'll give you relief for 15 to 20 minutes. It'll give you dimensional relief in 15 to 20 minutes, no problem, on a Monday. But by Monday evening, it's back to square one. It's back to square one. You can, when somebody's on a mat and they are screaming and shouting and hooping and hollering, it seems like something very important is happening. But is it? No, it's not. It's theater. It's performative.
Do you know what we have to point towards, right? And I think I put this in the group, and you have spoke to me about this loads of time. We're good at observation as children. We're poor at interpretation. So I have now what I would describe as the best relationship with my ma. Like Amy and I do fucking things that I've never done with my ma. I never thought I'd even dream of doing these things. I was doing trigger pointing on the other day with her body and helping her and touching her and holding her. I never thought I'd have the capacity to do that with my mother.
Yeah.
My ma is the most loving being in the world. She's a beautiful soul. But because I interpreted something as a child that she said and did, and what she said did is not important, but I interpreted that as I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, I'm da-da-da, and she was just parenting the way she, but I interpret as I'm a bad person, and I ran with that.
Yeah.
And I fucking just felt it. No one helped me think and feel any different. I brought it to a therapist, I brought it to a breathwork, I brought it to a thing, and I never put that to bed. It was only when I looked at that and changed that, that then I really got to see what my ma is, what she did.
Yeah.
Because I have been for years, like many people, was telling myself lies. My ma doesn't love me, the world doesn't love me, I'm not good enough. That was never true. My ma is the exact same thing as she was then.
Yeah.
She was just doing parenting the way she thought was meant to be done.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm not lovable.
Exactly. Yeah.
And all of those other things I brought to a mat and I brought to a therapist, and I cried and screamed.
Yeah.
I never looked at that and said that's not true. And if the body's holding the score for that, then it's holding a lie.
It's holding a lie, exactly.
Because I've been telling it a lie. I interpret as I'm not lovable, and the body remembers the lie that I once told it.
Exactly.
Unconsciously.
Yeah. So children are great observers, but really bad interpreters. And that means that when you're 6 years of age and something goes down in your environment, there's an argument or something is happening, your 6-year-old system will take, because it's in a selfish form at that point, everything is about you, it will take on board that argument as if you've had something to do with the argument. Great observers of the argument, but bad interpreters in terms of, have I done something wrong? And if you don't have parents that are awake, they won't know how to remedy that with you. That on and on that goes, and where it stops, nobody knows. And that goes on and on. So a thinking, feeling, thinking loop gets set up. And then that's a wrap. You're just going to be self-harming through the chemistry of your unconscious until such time as it's put out of business. And what's happened, your system, in the last 3 years is you've put the bulk of the self-harm thoughts and feelings and thoughts out of business. You've put a bulk of them out of business, and you didn't have to go from, I feel bad, I need to make myself feel good. What you did is you turned off the idea that there was a reason to feel bad, and then you automatically will feel good. That's different. You don't have to, you're not gonna engage a modality, scream your head off, get relief, and then, whoop, I feel better. That doesn't work. That's what we're pointing to. That woman that we spoke about at the start of this, she did everything. Nothing worked until she stopped harming herself internally with the original drug. The original drug that you've been on is the drug of the personality, the drug of the body. That's what you've been on. The original drug is the drug that needs to be chemically let go of. That's not easy.
And this is not saying, as you pointed to rightly at the very start, this is not denying what happened.
Not at all.
And this is not saying, "I'll just get over it." It's we want to help people get over the hormones of the past.
Yeah.
That's so we just point to, yeah, it did happen. Stuff had happened to me as a child, but I view it differently now. All of it, like I remember doing breath work, and bringing myself, the breath work brought me into a place where I seen an event happen as a child, right, and stuff, and I cried and and I kept seeing it, and I kept seeing it, and I kept seeing it. I'm like, I'm still talking about this. I'm still feeling. I'm still talking about it, right? So me and you have the chat 3 years later. I think I'd done a meditation last year or this, I'm not so sure, where I had that same visual again. But this time I placed my hand on my heart and this person's heart.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
And I felt relief. I felt joy. I felt, okay, I feel okay.
It's over.
It's over. I'm safe. It's safe.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
And when you started to say to certain communities of so-called therapists or facilitators or breathwork facilitators, when you started to say to them, I'm good, what happened? What happened? They freaked out. They freaked out.
Yeah, there's a pushback then.
Yeah.
There's a pushback.
There was an email you got that you showed me, and it said, when you said, I'm done now, thanks very much, that was brilliant, thanks for all your help.
I'm gonna focus on love.
Yeah.
Because the very thing that I wanted, I said, I'm gonna focus.
You said you're gonna focus on love.
I'm gonna focus on love.
Yeah. And that person got back and said, you need to do more breath work, or you need to breathe more. It's like, what's going on? I just told you I'm done. I've been doing this with you for a block of time. Why are you trying to rope me into your ideology? Well, it's because you want if my story gets negated and I actually put my story out of business energetically, chemically, hormonally, then what business will I have going to your so-called cathartic modality? None. You just lost a client, and that's why you're freaked out. That's why you're trying to keep me on the hook.
Do you think that's prevalent right across the sectors?
Yes.
With psychotherapies, with the psychologies,
100%.
the breathworkies, and I even noticed it in my own system. and you have pointed this with me, and we spoke about it. This sell, get more clients.
Yeah,
The hustle,
Yeah.
keep people in the, masquerading as help,
Wellness.
masquerading as help. It's as sneaky as sneaky can be. And I was the master of puppeteering and sneakiness.
Yeah.
Selling, dealing, the flats, the this, the
Yeah.
drugs, the that. It's innate in my system, and it's been a debt to
Yeah.
let that go. And again, I'm not knocking system because I was part of the system. I helped build an empire. I was like in it.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I can't do that anymore. Why? Because it's not honest and it's not truthful.
Exactly. And one of the definitions of love that I heard a long, long time ago was to ensure the spiritual growth of another person for selfless reasons. To ensure the spiritual growth of another person for selfless reasons. So take somebody that we know, Katie, right? So Katie, like yourself, comes knocking on our door at a particular time. And I could show you a graph of Katie doing work with me. And it's not more and more and more. It's fucking less and less and less. She doesn't need me because she's got her. That's where we're aiming.
I done 11 years consistently of psychotherapy. I done 11 years.
I did 30.
Yeah. And I done some blocks of breath work, holotropic, and I've done other things.
Yeah.
Right. And it was consistent, like bam,
Yeah.
bam, me, like, why am I saying this? The seeking.
Yeah.
Me and you have done a block of work over 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's gone, say, like this in a graft.
Yeah.
It's gone like this and it's gone down.
It goes down.
Like even our text
If
message.
that graph doesn't go fucking down with people that are working with me, then I'm trying to keep you on the hook to keep working with me. That's what I'm doing.
And
if the graph goes up and you become more dependent, I'm not doing my job. If the graph goes down and you're all good in the hood, you want to do a little drop in every month, every 2 months, that's it. It's a wrap.
Like even our text messages, like if I was to look at the first text message I sent you to this text message, they're different. They're totally, even the gaps, even the language in them, the energy in them, the seeking, the needing, the the scarcity, like all the same hormones, the hormones of stress, based on why I went to the therapist, the holotropic, the counselor, and again, it's not a knock on these. It's just to realise I was going in the wrong direction because the energy was asking me to seek because it was outside myself.
Yeah.
Where you said to me, it's not me, it's you.
Yeah.
And my doubt and Thomas inside me is like, he's just fucking saying that. It's a reverse psychology.
Yeah.
You say, you don't need me, you can do this yourself. Like, he's just saying that so I'll need him and I'll run after him.
Yeah.
But now I've woke up to that. You don't.
No.
And I don't.
No.
And when I sat with a man here the other day, and I no interest whether he comes back or whether he doesn't. Like if he comes back good, it makes no difference to me.
Makes no difference.
And I sat here with so much confidence and comfort going.
Yeah.
It's different.
Very different. So again, when you have deep wounds in your system that you keep on regurgitating because you're chemically addicted to seeking the relief from those wounds, what happens is every therapist, psychiatrist, psychologist will hook into you, and on it goes. You'll get no relief. You'll just be on the hook for the same trauma just being regurgitated. Where do you want to end the seeker? Do you want to end this? Another energy that I've been kind of tracking over the last little while is an archetype called the vulnerable narcissist. And the vulnerable narcissist loves a facilitator, loves a therapist, loves a psychedelic, loves another place to go to say, I'm completely fucked, can you help me? Rather than actually wake up, start taking some responsibility internally for your own internal chemistry and go, actually, I'm good. I'm okay. Vulnerable narcissist. Check it out.
Wow, I've never heard of that term.
It's an amazing archetype that is very hard to point to because they're so deeply in the second energy center, they're sucking the energy from the room, and it's all about them. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Okay.
I've started to see it now quite a bit over the last 2 to 3 years, and it is a deeply disturbing game that people play with other people. It's amazing. Yeah. So it's a very, very real phenomena. I'm glad that I've started to see it, because you have to, after a certain amount of time, say to yourself, I've said like 15 to fucking 50 different ways from Sunday. I've said to this person, I just showed you. I just fucking showed you. I showed you. Oh yeah, but yeah, no, I fucking showed you. I showed you. You do this, 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 and this, and then that will be no longer. Then 2 weeks later, oh yeah, but shut the fuck up now. I told you how many times, and then you realize, oh shit, this is the drug they want to smoke in my company. Yeah.
Do you see the way you just said that?
Yeah.
That's going to be hard for people to digest.
Big time.
Right. So let's point to something here. That would be, and I'm not saying this it is from me, but I'm going to just point to this. That would seem aggressive. That would seem arrogant. That would seem like, yeah, that's not wrapped in niceties.
Yeah.
That's a male way of seeing it. That's aggressive. Yeah. That's like, you need to say a little bit softer. You need to be a bit more feminine with this. You need to be, and then you can then become the bad guy.
And that elongates the game that they're trying to set you up for.
Do you see what I'm pointing to here?
Big time.
So see that energy? Yeah. I know someone may listen to that and go, I can't believe you said that. That's not very therapeutic. That's not very compassionate. That's not very loving. That's not very... So let's talk about that.
So for the first 5 times, I'm cutie patootie. I'm fucking sweet as apple pie. I understand. Yeah. And okay, so I get what you're saying in that particular thing. And so we can do this and this and this. Okay, that's for the first 5 times. From 5 to 10, I'm a little bit like, we spoke about this already. Why do you want to talk about that again? All right. Fuck it. Let's talk 5 more times. So 10 times, we're talking about the same thing. And I'm like, you wanted a solution to A. I gave you the solution to A, but you want to keep on talking about the problem. Okay, so now I have to start going from 10 to 15. So the 15th time, the 20th time, when it gets to 30, I'm like, you're fucking with me now. You're fucking with me now. You're talking about problems that you haven't fucking got. What you're saying is happening isn't happening. It's only seemingly happening in you, because you won't stop thinking and feeling the same way you've been thinking and feeling since 1986. It ain't 1986, Michael J. Fox. Get the fuck in the DeLorean, get back to 2026, step out of that bitch and wake up.
Right.
You're okay. You're okay. A vulnerable narcissist, whatever, covert narcissist, does not want to hear I'm okay. Why? Because there's a fishhook in being not okay.
And then it becomes about your delivery.
Yeah.
It becomes about the way you've said it, and people will listen to this and go,
oh my God, he's so mean. I told you, I'm fucking sweet as apple pie for the first 5. When I'm saying the same thing to you, the 30th time in, and we're 3 years in, now you're fucking with me.
And we have had these conversations, by the way.
Yeah.
Like you have said to me, we've done this before. We've had this conversation before. I've just brought a different problem, but it's the same flavor.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's predicated on I've done something wrong. I'm not feeling good enough. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
But you keep wrapping it up in something else and delivering saying, yeah, but look, this is at the come on. You're like, underneath all of this is that stuff that we talked about.
Yeah, it's the same.
How much more do we need to talk about the turbulence on the plane?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And then for me, I was like, right, it's me. It's
Yes.
me. It's
Yes.
my body. It's this, right, I get
Yeah.
it. And it took a minute.
Yes. So people are unconsciously or consciously producing the hormones of stress all day, every day. They are like, they're pulling out a lighter in front of you. They're burning their hand in front of you, right? And I just go, you've got the fucking lighter though. Put down the lighter. 5 times. Put down the lighter. No, it's not me. It's the last relationship I was in was so abusive. Yeah, but he was the lighter. He was the lighter you used to keep this victim mentality ignited in your system. Then they're in a one-to-one with me. They got the lighter. I'm like, put down the lighter. This is what we need to do to make sure you know to stop picking up the lighter. 30 times in, they've a fucking flamethrower. They've a fucking flamethrower in the session. They've a flamethrower and they're fucking blowing the I'm like, you brought a flamethrower into the room for absolutely no reason. And what does that mean? It means we can safely say in the generous present moment, Matt Burke, Tommy Ellis, both of us know that that's not so. We can say right now in 2026, I'm not being physically abused, sexually abused, mentally abused, psychologically abused. None of those things are happening. So what is happening? I'm good. But when you're working with somebody that has a really good life, but they're entering into their life through every thought and feeling with a fucking flamethrower, when you point out the flamethrower, you're the problem. No, I'm not the problem, motherfucker. Put the flamethrower down. Yeah, but it was my ma. My ma, you know, she did. I know what your ma did. But your ma's dead 30 fucking years. That's a flamethrower. That's a lighter. You keep burning yourself with the same thing. It ain't your abuser burning you anymore. And they don't want to have that conversation. But this world needs to have this specific conversation so that you can know when this sort of neurotic energy wants to keep on keeping on and then wants to scapegoat you because you're the male energy that doesn't, you don't get it. No, you don't get it. You're burning yourself, and if I tell you to put down the lighter, now I'm the problem in your life. So now you stop doing stuff with me, then you go over there and you're doing stuff with other people, and now what? Oh, now you're talking about Tommy. Tommy's the lighter. Oh, well, fucking have at it then, because you don't want to be okay. You don't want to be okay. You want to continue seeking for a solution to a problem that you fucking started. It's a loop, man. It's this loop that people go on. And a great facilitator that I knew back in 2009, I hired him and another dude to facilitate a men's group in 2008, 2009. And I talked him into coming back to doing group work and this, that, and the other. And because I knew he wasn't interested in it anymore. He had done group work for 30 years up to that point. And I said to him, why are you not interested in that group work anymore? He says, because they're all working the wound. And I was like, what do you mean they're working the wound? He says, they get a gash in their leg. They talk about the wound. They get it stitched up. They go to the doctor. They do everything that they can do to get rid of the wound. And then they come into group. They reef out the fucking stitches, stick a stick in it, and start stirring it.
What an analogy.
They're working the wound. And I was like, that is fucking mind blowing. Because I was like, hey, Freddie.
That was me.
Listen. And I honestly didn't know. I honestly didn't know that I was doing that.
I woke up to that.
When I woke up to it, when I woke up to it, the whole cascade of what I was doing to myself was crystal clear. It was incredible. That working the wound metaphor, Jesus Louises.
I'm not gonna forget that. Could we go a little deeper with the Van der Becks or the Van der Beek?
Bessel van der Kolk.
When it says the body holds the score, and we point to that because it's not just the mind, it's in the body, and the somatic stuff helps all that. Let's talk about then the energy centers in the body, as in thinking, feeling, thinking. That can get programmed into the body, because that can lead you to believe, okay, it's not in the body, it's just in the mind, but the energy centers in the body play a role in it as well through the thinking, feeling.
Yeah.
Let's explore that.
So in 1976, there was an incident, a trauma, an abuse, sexual, physical, mental, emotional, goes on in 1976.
Right.
There's a system that gets set up, the amygdala gets jacked, the pituitary takes the signal. So you're being abused in 1976, goes through your body, and certain energy centers will be lit up with different abuses. Third energy center will be you're getting beaten up, sexual abuse, first energy center, which is your perineum. So that's where the loop goes in. So thinking, feeling, thinking, sexual abuse, first energy center. I'm getting beaten up by my brother, thinking, feeling, thinking goes in third energy center, defensiveness. And I'm now freaked out around my brother all the time. So I'm a victim, thinking, feeling, thinking, second energy center. Fear is one. I'm a victim, life is happening to me is in two. And anger and frustration and irritation is in three. That is the level of mind that ignites in each one of those energy centers at a basic level. That's it.
Perfect.
So that's 1976.
Right.
Now, I go into Centra in 2026 and there's a dude behind the counter, looks like my brother. Thinking, feeling, thinking, loops, third energy center. I start to respond to him like he's my brother, but he's not. So the body has a kind of an occipital looping interpretation, boom, and it cascades. Now, he's a bit dodgy, he's like my brother. Or you're in a relationship with somebody and it's 2026 and it starts to loop, she's exactly like
Is
my man.
that what the book is pointing to?
No, not at all.
Is that what can be misinterpreted as?
What they're pointing to, in general is that a lot of people took on board the idea that the actual tissues, the muscles, the actually held those memories. And I don't believe that that's true. When I go into Centra in 2026, that's not my brother. That's a dude behind the counter in Centra. So it's me that's thinking, feeling, thinking, and me.
And what the book is saying to you, that the body is separate and
that the body has this imprint, and
Right.
you don't have much of a say over that imprint, and you're always going to be beholden to the 1976 imprint.
I recapped on that book this morning because I read the book, I probably read a couple of times, listened to it, and I recapped it this morning, and that was the kind of premises that the body is separate to the mind is separate to the body.
Yeah.
I just wanted a link up because you and I are interested in the energy center chakras to some people.
Yeah. So you see, the thing about this conversation is you've proven unequivocally that what an awful lot of these ideas or memes online I've pointed to isn't true. Because in the time from the conversation we had in that park over the last 3 years, we have unequivocally shown that the only way that your history can stay in place, moving through your body as a real phenomena, is if you unconsciously allow yourself to think, feel, think in the same way you did in 1986. When you stopped that, when you took responsibility for that, when you took responsibility for the chemistry in your body, you started to feel better. That's just a fact. The trauma world does not want to believe that you could get relief from all of that in such a short space of time and then be rendered free of that history and to be autonomous within your own decision making. In other words, you don't need holotropic breathwork. Have at it if you want to go do it and explore it for a different reason. You don't need ayahuasca to get relief. You gave yourself the relief through this process. And this process isn't an outward process. This process isn't a process that was dependent on me delivering the process. This process was something you did inside of you. You gave yourself the right to be rendered confident after all that you'd been through. That's different.
So I basically think, feel my energy centers in a different way.
Yeah.
Where before I'd have thought of that thing, felt that thing, and all of a sudden I'm flooded. I never realised that I was flooding myself. That now I think of them things I used to think about, those traumatic things that would have happened in the past. I don't think of those things anymore. They're just not there.
They're not active. Why are they not active? The brain interprets to the body of which it is a part. The brain interprets to the body. When the neuropeptide of something goes off in your thought system, so it comes in, gets into your brain as Matt's thought, Tommy's thought, Patricia's thought, Rachel's thought, Brona's thought, it gets in as a personalized thought. A part of you, let's call it awareness, a part of you, let's call it what you are, gets in front of it and goes, no, I'm not gonna think that fucking way today, because as soon as that thought gets into the body, now I'm feeling at the level that I was thinking, and I'm thinking at the level that I'm feeling, and now I'm in 1976. I don't want to be in 1976. I want 2026, because 2026 is like devoid of all of that historical chemical bullshit. So if your claim is that you want to feel a little bit better inside of yourself, you better start to understand how your body will lead to your thinking will lead to your body, but you can get in front of that part of the autonomic nervous system and you can stop that thought crossing your brainstem and you can go, nope, fucking not having it. Not today. And when you unconsciously think and feel and think in a way that makes you feel awful, that's an unconscious practice. When you engage in this conscious practice of going, not today, pal. Fucking no. Okay. Go fuck yourself. So, when you do that, you cut off the liar.
The lawyer, which is what's been running your show unconsciously and consciously for your life. So people can sometimes get pulled along by these modalities, these kind of schools of thought, psychology, psychotherapy, breathwork, you know, and they go like, well, it's this and it's that and it's the trauma and it's this. And how do we test and measure? How do we test and measure what we're saying? We get somebody that's gone through grief. We get somebody that has allegedly lost somebody, the death of a loved one. My ma. So my ma, and I think I'm cool to say this, my ma says that I can share stuff about her, not too private. She's been through a lot of stuff in her life. Childhood stuff, hard stuff in life, deemed in the world of therapy and psychotherapy that there's a lot of trauma. Yeah. Then she's married to this amazing man, 53 years. He checks out, leaves his physical body. She's in what's known as the grief process. Yeah. Right? So I say, right, I'm going to help me, ma. I'm going to give her a little dig out. How am I going to help her? I'm going to love her. Yeah. I'm going to love her. And me and her had a few conversations. One day, she's in what would be known as a second energy center, victim crying over something that happened. All of a sudden, I'm lit up like a Christmas tree. I become aware, thinking, feeling, think. And I says, Ma, I see what's going on for you right now. I can't help you right from this position because I'm exactly where you are. Scarcity, lack.
Yeah.
Yours is victim, mine is anger.
Yeah.
Let's put this to bed. I'll be back to you.
Yeah.
I left her a few days and I come back. And I say, are you ready to have that chat now? And she goes, you're speaking to me like I'm a child. I says, because the two of us were acting like children.
Yeah.
Your body's acting like a child, but we're not children. Can we have this conversation? Can I help you? I fucking love you, man.
Yeah.
Let's do this. That was the basis of our conversation right the way over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Through love, through conversation, through thinking, feeling.
Yeah.
She would be described as someone that was going through the grief process. I said to her a couple of months ago, how are you doing? I'm good. How did you get here? And she goes, you. And I goes, no, what got you? Not who, what got you here? And she goes, the help you did, what was that? Thinking, feeling. No one ever told me the way I think and the way I feel.
Exactly.
So what my ma was pointing to was love, trust, joy, peace, clarity. Not more therapy. She's never been to a therapist. She never wanted to go to a therapist. She's never been to breathwork. She never wants to go. She comes to my breathworks and yoga now. But we don't talk about pain. We don't talk about hurt. She experiences it.
Yeah.
And I help and see how she may be causing it through the thinking, feeling. She is a lot of the times these days feeling good. Walking down the street and people are like saying to her, how are you? And she's like, I'm good. I'm like, Matt, are you really good? She goes, I actually am. Before I would have just said it.
Yeah.
But I'm actually good.
Yeah.
People come into the house, people say, how are you? She goes, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I'm not even touching some of the stuff that she's doing. She's blown my mind.
Right.
Things she would have never done before.
Right.
How did she do that?
Yeah.
Thinking, feeling. She wasn't exposed to it. The body holds the score.
Yeah.
We said to her, man, you're causing that stuff inside yourself. I let her listen to a few podcasts, a few things. And she's like, wow.
Yeah.
She now trains herself to think and feel different.
Yeah.
She does, not me. And
Yeah.
that's not me saying it's not about me.
Yeah.
I just said to her, try this.
Yeah.
Give that a go.
Yeah. And it can take, like you mentioned, Hebb's law, the idea that neurons or neuropeptides that fire together will wire together. Of course, your neural architecture, your mom's, yours, mine, would be built and molded a certain way from the environments that we were in, certainly from the interpretation of the environments that we were in. So that neural architecture can take a minute to unbind, unwire, and unfire. This process, Dr. Joe Dispenza would say this quite clearly, this process is an unbecoming process. It's unbecoming, it's an undoing, it's an unwiring. What does that mean? I'm about to think that way and react that way to that thing in a way that's going to hurt me. Is this loving to me? No, it's not loving to me. So let's think about what it would be like to not do it. Okay, so I'm not going to react that way. And now my body is going to go into chemical withdrawals because my body is a self-righteous fire starter, right? It's just wants to cause trouble. And I need to say to myself, if I speak to her that way, with that type of energy, historical energy, is that going to be beneficial to this environment? Is that loving to me? Well, no, it's not loving to me. What would be loving to me? Calm down my autonomic nervous system, calm down my central nervous system, calm my system down, and don't start to own your reactivity, your reactions to that person. Start to own it. Don't just react to them. Wait, take some time, pause, let yourself do something new and do something different. Let that chemistry subside and then go back to that person and say, I can have that conversation now.
It took me a few days.
Took me a minute to get there, but I got there, and now we can build toward a future that is not like being fucking pepper sprayed in the face every morning by your history.
And we don't have a mother and son. She will say, I'm our son, I'll say she's my mother. But we don't have that now. It's just two people that love each other, helping each other along the way.
Yeah.
and she wasn't exposed to any modalities.
It's amazing.
And Kieran's my little brother, and I've said to him, and he's moving in this direction, doing this work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, go and check out me ma. Not as your ma. This woman, 73, is now is doing this work inside of herself and is happy.
Yeah.
How did she do that?
Yeah.
Like how? Like that's impressive.
Yeah.
Like Trish, how is that possible?
Yeah.
No therapy, no thing. She's just like doing this by thinking it's that simple.
Yeah.
But in theory, but just difficult in practice.
Exactly. Because there's a momentum. A person has been on a fucking Japanese bullet train of bullshit from 1976. It's been moving through you, thoughts, feelings, thoughts, cortisol, adrenaline, noradrenaline. You've got your foot on the accelerator and the brake at the same time. Every email that comes in, you're pinging like a fucking slot machine. Like you're kind of, unhinged in many different ways. But you're only 15 seconds out of bed. You're completely fucking unhinged. It's like you're in a Las Vegas gambling casino and everything's just pinging off all the time. You got no control, you think. You've got no control. Your history is just moving through you unencumbered, unthought about, unchartered, completely ungoverned. And you're just going off like a roulette table all day, every day. You can get to a place where that doesn't happen. We're not saying don't have your reactions or even overreact every now and then. Of course, we're not talking about being in fucking unicorn piss 90% of the time. Do you know what I mean? We're not talking about being unrealistic. We're talking, if we can get to 50, 60%, let's say 60% of the time you were just peaceful. What would that be like? That's going to go somewhere. That's going to go somewhere. If you're used to the hormones of stress dictating your day all day, every day, 80%, 90% of your day, and it's unchecked, you're fucked. Like over time, the disease that's coming your way, you check that box and check that box, you'll be in every hospital because it's unchecked. It's ungoverned. When you start to take some self-reliance, some self-governance inside yourself and go, what the fuck is going on with me? And you can get yourself into a position where you feel a little bit of joy, then a little bit more, then a little bit more. Then you're at a 60% run rate of, I feel quite peaceful. It changes your future, and it changes and entrains all the environments you go in. All the environments you go into. So I'm working at the moment with a lady who is a teacher, and she teaches 5, 6, 7-year-old kids. And she's on a path now to understand how she can go into that environment and be okay inside of herself. And that's the path. So she has a bullet train of history that's dictating how she thinks and feels because it's ungoverned. This is how we start to govern it. We learn how to meditate, calm that chemistry down, so that gives us a choice as to whether to think and feel and think that way again. You have the choice to not do it. You can stop being the false reference in your life, because you have to be able to stop looking out into the world for the monster or the liar and start finding it in you. There's a liar in you, in your body, all day, every day, masquerading as somebody that knows what the fuck they're talking about. Meanwhile, they've got zip fucking firelighters all over the gap and they're trying to fucking burn the place down. That's through every thought. It's incredible, man.
And just what we spoke about before we pressed the camera, to make it really simple for people, and this is what I've done for myself, is understanding. People get lost in the words you say or the behaviors that they do. What's the flavor? What's the flavor inside you? For men, it can be a lot of aggression, like there's a strong, like rich, burning sensation. If that's in you, you know you're going in the wrong direction. If the flavor inside of you as a woman is victim and the world's against me, and That in itself, like tasting vanilla or tasting chocolate, it's very obvious. If you want to know where you're at, what's the flavor in you right now? And that's what you're pouring into the world unconsciously.
How you have to know, how do you feel? How do you feel? When you think about him, what does that trigger in you? When you think about your sister, your older sister, what does that trigger in you? How do you feel? You have to know how you feel in order to investigate it at such a level that you can say, well, I'd like to feel different. How the fuck do you feel?
This gets skipped past quite easily by people because the shiny thing outside them, the Palestine, the Ukraine, the Trump, the McGregor, the oil wars, whatever. But when you open your eyes in the morning, what's the flavor? What's the feeling?
Yeah.
Feeling, flavor. Call it what you like. Inside of yourself, what's coursing through your veins at 6 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock? Like just that. Take that moment to go, what's going on here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Before you grab the phone, before you go fucking hating Trump, before you go wanting to knock the head off your sister.
Yeah. Yeah. What is the feeling that I'm feeling at 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning? And is that appropriate? Like, are you jumping online onto Twitter or onto a news feed and like feeding on something? Well then you're just taking a drug of a different type. Don't make out like when you're morbidly obese that you're not a drug addict. You fucking are. I'm sorry, but you are. Do you know what I mean? It's not you. It's not big bones. It's not. You need to look at the feeling that's generating that behavior so that you're compensating every time you're eating.
I remember when I was interested in letting go of porn. I'm like, how am I going to do that? And I was like, why do I do it? What's the thing? I'm going to look at after I do it and before I do it, before I want to do it. What is leading me to that?
Yeah.
And before I did it,
Exactly.
before I jumped on Pornhub, before that, I got really curious. There was an emptiness, there was an anxiety, there was a difficulty, there was a loneliness. And then I did the thing.
Yeah.
So then I did the porn, whatever, few minutes, whatever. Then I looked at after. I felt shy. Shy before, shy after, but I used this thing for a circle. That was the same for food. That was the same for sex. That was the same for drugs. It was the feeling that was driving me to it.
Yeah.
The fundamentals why people go to AA. Why am I drinking? What's the why? What's the flavour? What's the feeling?
Yeah.
In the morning before you say to the lovely being, which is Brown beside me, but fucking hell, why is she still sleeping? I'm angry, I'm irritated, I'm agitated.
Yeah.
A misattribution of emotion. I'm blaming this thing, I'm blaming the porn, I'm blaming the food for the obesity.
Yeah.
What's the feeling that's driving it?
Yeah.
What's the thinking that's...
The feeling is the secret. You have to know the feelings. Like, okay, I got this feeling. I feel lack, that I don't have enough. Okay, how did that get in your body? Well, it got in your body because of how you're thinking. Well, how were you thinking? Well, I was thinking about the rent. I was thinking about the mortgage. Okay, so your thinking led to that feeling, and that feeling led to more of that thinking. Okay, so what happens when you don't think that? It means you don't feel it. And when you stop feeling it, it won't produce more thoughts.
Sure.
So you're getting to hack a biological system that is hackable. Your autonomic nervous system is a hackable system.
Absolutely.
100%.
Neuroplasticity. When people wake up in the morning, okay, we're familiar with the dawn phenomena, cortisol rises, the hunter kind of hormones to get people ready for the day, scan the environment. When people wake up with a sense of, oh, like, and they'll say, but I didn't even think about it, and I just opened my eyes and there's a, How do we help people with that?
The first thing that people need to do is to notice how I feel. I wake up and after about 17 seconds, how you feel will just be there. the subjects, if it's work, if it's your business, if it's your partner, if it's your kids, if it's your mom, if it's your sister, there'll be something that your thought system will latch onto, and then you'll get the cascade, the flood, the deluge of like Niagara Falls switches on.
What people might think is it was there already. It's nearly like the body just is doing that thing. Like Van de Beek will say, well, it was there, it's in my body.
Yeah.
It was there before me thinking.
It is autonomic in terms of the environment will automatically spike. The body will go up, I'm here again, I'm waking up in this bed again, and then it'll start up and start kicking off. And we need to know that you can intercept that. You can intercept that. But the first thing for people that are not used to this is monitor how you feel from the bed to the kettle. That's it. And ask yourself, how insane am I? How much of a fucking absolute Looney Tune am I from the bed to the kettle? You've probably already committed a murder within that fucking 60-second, 30-second walk.
The level of violence that can move through you. People think they're just abstract things, they're just thoughts. No, thoughts have a biology.
Yeah.
And you're a lunatic at 6 o'clock in the morning just for getting from here to the kettle.
Exactly.
And people don't check that. And I mean myself, I didn't. That was uncurated, unthing.
Yeah.
When I say violent, I mean angry, irritation.
Yeah.
Same, but different.
Yeah. So notice, and then have the courage to say to yourself, while you're drinking your coffee, I'm fucking insane. I'm actually a mental patient. And there's great relief in that.
Great relief. I sat one day with a pen and paper and I became the receptionist in my mind.
Yeah.
Everything I said, I wrote it down. Give me a minute, I'm going to write this down.
Yeah.
I put a message in a group and then I was saying, oh, that person doesn't like you. Okay, that person doesn't like you. And then I read it and it was fucking Comedy Central.
Absolute comedy.
Psychotic.
Big time.
She fancies you, he hates you, she thinks you're gorgeous, he thinks you're a fat ugly yoke. All of this thing.
Yeah.
Mental.
Yeah.
It went on for days. It was like an Andrecht Rowlett issue.
And it'll never stop. It never stops until
this
you
was
can
a few years ago I did this.
Until such time as you start to actually look at that and read it and go, what is this in me that keeps on telling me that I'm such a fucking wanker? All day, every day.
And I believed it.
It's like a radio.
She likes me, she doesn't like me, he hates me, he loves me, he wants me to work with me, he doesn't ever want me to. He thinks, spoof.
Yeah.
Psychotic, serial killer shit.
Yeah. Ungoverned. And that is the unparented, ungoverned, sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system. That's what that is. And when what you are, which is awareness, consciousness, when that starts to become aware of this entity in your body that's doing whatever the fuck it wants to do whenever it wants to do it, when awareness becomes aware of it, that's the beginning of the end of the liar inside your body. That's the beginning of the end. When I hear somebody peeling off in their body and they're like looking, and they're like, who is this absolute fucking clown moving through me in the first minute of me getting from the bed to the kettle? Who is this? What is this? And I'm telling you now that entity, you've taken yourself to be it. Sounds like you, looks like you, moves like you.
What's known as the personality.
The personality structure.
Persona.
The personality structure that's known as Tommy is not me. It's not. It's just not. Now that's another leap for people. That might be a bit tricky for people, but I have no interest in that entity, that personality structure. Breaking the habit of being yourself is breaking the habit of being this fire-starting clown liar. And I just gave up the goose on believing it. And I can intercept anything now. Anything that comes that wants to make itself out to be so, I can get in front of it and go, I'm not letting you move that way. So awareness starts to take over the body. And when awareness takes over the body, then you're not beholden to the body taking over your day.
And what I had to do with that was pen and paper, write it down, say the thing, put the lies on the paper,
Yeah.
actually call it out, and then I went, right, now I'm going to go inside and just watch.
Yeah.
And when I do meditation with people or do work with people, I say awareness, you are the observer, you're the seer, notice the feelings, notice the sensation of the body. And then when you write it all down, then you can start to, like what you were saying, being the gatekeeper for your mind.
Yeah.
Just watching like a doorman stands on a nightclub or
Yeah.
a pub. You watch and go, wow.
Yeah.
When she says that, I thought of that.
Yeah.
That's not appropriate.
Yeah.
That's not a loving way to think or feel about somebody.
Yeah.
She's meant to be your girlfriend. She's meant to be your ma. She's meant to be your daughter. But you, and this requires what you said at the start, truth, honesty, willingness for change inside of yourself if you really want it.
Yeah.
You know, because I sit with people and they say, I want peace, I want joy. And I'm like, but you spoke to your wife like that and you did that thing. And that doesn't sound like the ambassador for peace, truth, and joy.
Yeah. And there are certain energies that you can entangle with and work with and you're speaking with, and they are absolutely, utterly convinced that what has gone on and what goes on in their environment is a representation of the truth. It's not a representation of the truth. You've put on a pair of fucking bright yellow Speedo swimming goggles and you're trying to convince me that the world is yellow. It's not fucking yellow. It's not. You just think that because these are so wrapped tightly around you, you think that everything's yellow. And this is about being malleable with yourself and flipping them up and going, maybe reality is absolutely not the way that I have claimed it to be. That's a hell of a day.
That's a
hell of a day.
And when you're saying yellow, you mean the hormones of the third energy center, the Manipuri, can flood your body and tell you like this is the way it is when it's not.
Yeah.
And as we said, when you put that stuff on the paper, just even take that stuff on the paper for all the lies. How many other lies are you not being aware of? How much other stories have you believed as being the truth?
Yeah.
Start with that. Question everything.
Yeah. And has everything up to this point as a think and feeling phenomena in me been true? Or was it just uncurated and therefore shown to be not true? I have memories of things that I went through that are now viewed from a higher, faster frequency, and it has no effect. So the memory without the emotional hit of the lower energy centers is called wisdom. I'm not saying I'm trying to stop memories. I'm telling you that the memories I have are clean and clear. It doesn't mean anything to me now. That thing, that so-called thing that was so bad that happened, it hasn't got the hit anymore because dendritic sniper duty made me watch that thought and go, no, I'm not going there today. I'm not doing that. And when I didn't do that, that memory then gets bifurcated to a higher frequency, and now something bigger, bolder, wiser looks at it and goes, that's done.
Would you be okay with the fact, would you be okay with the statement if I was to say to you that we can in the now moment go back to a historical thing and change it in the now moment? Because I have gone back to scenes in my mind with my ma and stuff like that as an adult now and gone back and being loving to things.
Yeah. So you get a punch in the face in 1986. It creates a certain behavior in you for decades and decades and decades. You get to 2026 and you are still beholden to that punch in the face. You've got certain behaviors, you're eating too much sugar because of that punch in the face. Okay. Then you stop the externalized addiction. You stop eating so much, and then you're starting to feel some things. You're in withdrawals. Then you stop thinking and feeling and thinking, which is the original drug, and then you start to get back to this kind of level playing field inside of yourself. Then you start to feel peaceful in 2026. What happens when peace looks back on this punch in the face in 1986? That's wisdom. There is no connection. There is no emotional abuse connection anymore. It's over because it's fucking over. If I still have the emotional reaction to 1986 in 2026, that means 1986 is happening again in my body in 2026 because I'm not bringing it to a close.
Wow. And that's going to be hard for people to digest and say, unvelcro themselves from it.
Big time.
Yeah.
Because they've taken themselves to be the entity that they're not. They've taken themselves, the liar that keeps lying inside of you from the bed to the kettle, that liar that moves through you over that minute and a half, that liar is what you've taken yourself to be. You're not that at all.
And research and, let's say, quantum physicists and other kind of teachers and trainers will tell us that our memory of the past may not be very accurate.
It's not that it may not be fucking accurate. It's not that it may not be accurate. How can I sit in 2026 and think about what my outfla said to me in 1986 and think that I have a representation of the truth? You fucking Looney Tune. You don't have a representation of the truth. He probably didn't even say it like that. You're adding bits in. The dog was there. He kicked the dog. He punched you. He didn't.
Like,
you're not.
That, like, it's...
That's, I know, but they...
And I'm laughing because I'm going to remember stuff that I thought I remembered, and I now it's like, did I actually get that right? Like, do I have all the pieces for the jigsaw that I claim is finished? Like, and the fucking thing is all over the table.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, well, it was like this, it was like that, and you, even with my girlfriend Brown, we're in discussions about stuff, right? And she's like, you said this, and I said that, and I'm like, I don't really remember. So let's try to remember 1976. If you can't even remember 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And the conversation at that was very emotional.
Yeah.
So you think back in 1977 when that thing happened, you're shitting.
Yeah.
You're in the limbic system of your brain, survival like a zebra trying to get away from a lion. And you think you remember all the things that happened.
Yeah.
You construct it in a way that helps you remember that it was bad.
You can't fucking remember last Thursday. Go fuck yourself if you think you can remember 1986. You can't. You don't. That declarative memory system is wholeheartedly questionable. We know that now. You don't have a representation of what happened in 1986. You have an interpretation of what you're saying happened in 1986.
Interpretation is a big one.
Interpretation. So in 2026, I sit with my therapist and I'm thinking about that punch in the face in 1986, and all of a sudden it is just wall-to-wall lies. It's not true at all. None of it's fucking true. Something occurred, but my version of what occurred isn't what occurred. It's just not what occurred. And why would I be beholden to that which I have taken to be so, which is unequivocally not? It's not.
And the reason we're saying this is in service of love, in service of truth, in service of freedom. Freedom from yourself, freedom from the meaning you're making. In other words, for meaning is an interpretation of a world that keeps you in prison. You've been the gatekeeper, you've been the prisoner, you've been the screw to your own Mountjoy.
Yeah, and when you get like mostly a female energy system that believes it has certain memories within that second energy center, the Hindus call it the Svadhisthana. It's the orange energy center in the body, 2 inches below your navel, 2 inches into the body. There's a plexus of neurons there's a cluster of neurons in that particular center where that victim will think, feel, think in a loop and will stay in that particular place. It's pinging off memories that are not true. It's a motor that's motoring and it's not true. I don't know how the fuck people can't see that it's not true, but they can't. They are convinced of what's not happening all day, every day. They take it to be what is happening, and then they have their preferences and their kind of inner dialogue as to say, I'm just not okay, I'm just not okay, I'm just not okay. Yeah, well, we know why. We know why. And because I do wonder about this now that I've learned what I've learned over the last little while. Do people want to feel better? Because there's a heavy drug addiction going on in the body. People are addicted to the hormones of stress. And if you wake up at 7 a.m. and the hormones of stress are there because your body is being primed to be that way, what are you going to do when you go into withdrawals? Okay, I'm going to change this. I'm going to go into it. As soon as you go into withdrawals, your body is going to throw the kitchen fucking sink at you to get you back into a homeostasis or a status quo of I'm not okay. That your body is going to, because it's primed. Your body is going to try and keep you. So in order to feel better, you need to get off the drug of feeling bad. And it's a drug. You'll go into withdrawals, physical, chemical withdrawals.
So just to create clarity for this is that the body has been primed by the mind and the think and feeling, influenced by
not the incident.
No, but influenced by the environments that's been there. You've been set up in an environment, you interpret in a certain way, you think and feel, all of a sudden it starts to think and feel in a survival sense, lack and scarcity, and then on and on and on we go. Where we'll end up, nobody will know.
Yeah.
And here you are in 2026, just to paint that picture for people, that's how it was set up.
Yeah.
And it's just following a program, a pattern.
And to keep it simple, if me and you grew up, if we were brothers, if the three of us were brothers, so Tommy, Matt, and Lewis Hamilton, we're all Hamiltons. Tommy Hamilton, Matt Hamilton, Lewis Hamilton. And we grew up, right, as the Hamilton brothers. Chances are I'm going to be pretty good at fucking driving race cars.
Perfect.
Right? Chances are, makes perfect sense. Okay, now we didn't grow up in that fashion. Okay, so what would happen if you grew up with an alcoholic? Would you be formed in that fashion? You absolutely would. It will have an effect. It absolutely will. And that effect, which is not a positive effect, needs to be unwired and unfired. You grew up with sexual abuse, physical abuse, alcoholism, codependency. That was all in your environment. Yeah, you were molded by it, but you don't have to be beholden to it in 2026.
Perfect.
That's it.
It was created so it can be uncreated. And this is the power that we need people to wake up to.
Yeah.
You know, what we have said might be triggering to some people, but what I'm hoping in that this conversation is empowering.
Yeah.
It's fucking, it's of clarity and transparency that you've been the director, the screenwriter, and you've been the actor in your own story. And from this point forward, you get to be the new screenwriter, the new director and actor.
Yeah.
Think, feel, think.
Yeah.
And no one's saying for a minute this is not difficult.
Yeah.
At 3 o'clock in the morning when your body's screaming at you, there's a problem. I've had it. I woke up like I'm getting electric shocks and just panic.
Yeah.
And I've had to talk myself down off a ledge.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. And it's, people deserve some rest from the liar that is producing a lie all day, every day in your body. They deserve a rest from it. We know how to do it. It's got a lot of momentum. We know how to stall that train, get you off that onto the platform and get you to walk onto a different platform. We know how to do it. And all I can tell you is there was something Actually, I was speaking with Rachel about something, and she was convinced on her side about a certain thing, and I was like, I had a completely different experience with what she was saying. Her vantage point was just, it was very, very interesting, her vantage point, and it was so easy to just, oh, that's how you see that reality. Okay. And I had no interest in my version of that reality. I had no interest. I was just interested in her version. Because what I was interested in is, so what do you think would be a good idea now? I didn't reference, well, 2 weeks ago you said this. I didn't do that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was over.
That's the present moment.
It was over.
Not based on something that happened in the past.
Yeah.
I'm interested,
Yeah.
how do we move forward
Yeah,
with
because
this?
she was saying to me, well, you do, and I had a different experience to that, so I could have the kind of, yeah, well, fucking 3 weeks ago, this is, how can you not see that? I didn't do any of that.
Great.
No interest.
So you weren't being a, what would you call, an archaeologist and digging up the past.
No.
You go, from this point forward, how would you like to move forward?
Yeah, what do you think would be a good way for tomorrow? I don't want to be looking at yesterday.
Or now?
Yeah,
What?
yeah. What's good to bring us into a good now, and it's simple. But you have to give up your self-righteous vantage point, like you know what's happening. I've no interest. I've no interest. I have an interest in ease, and if excavation is gonna bring me into ease, I would have had ease 30 years ago, which I fucking didn't. There was no ease 30 years ago because of the excavating.
Yeah, and we have to say to people, yeah, it's okay to look back, but if you're looking back just to unhook yourself, then you can transcend. And when I mean transcend, I mean move up through the energy
Yeah.
centers that you're into your heart.
Yeah.
Not go to Angel, Gabriel, and all the other things. If you want to do that, that's cool. But we can look back, unhook,
Yeah.
look at the old story, look at the thing that had you caught for a while, the memories, did it, and then go, okay, let's
Yeah.
free you from that.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. And there was one lady I was working with recently, and she has been doing this work, and it has decoupled memories, and that's been trickling through her. She is now feeling safer to speak about 1986. Cool. But I said to her, here's the fucking deal. You want to talk about 1986? I am game on. I'll put me fucking leg warmers on. I'll go.
like fame.
No problem. Right? I'll go to 1986. Let's have a chat about 1986. But the thing that we need to be honest about is we can't stay here. We have to bring it to a close. Now, however long amount of time you want to take to bring it to a close, no problem. You want to take a year, 6 months, 3 months, 3 minutes, I don't give a fuck. I'm not in 1986, you see. So I can go there with you, no problem. Let's talk about what that was like for you based on the memory that you think you have, right? So, okay, cool. So you've said, do you need to say any more? Do you want to explore it any more? No. Okay. Cool. Fucking the professor, Michael J. Fox, me and her out of the DeLorean 2026. So how are you now? Well, I'm good. Okay. So that's fine. We're not saying deny the past. We're saying bring it up, have a look at it for a period of time. Don't stay in it unless you want to be paying that therapist's mortgage. You know what I mean? We can get you into a better feeling place, and then you will start to pour a particular type of solution into the world, which you cannot pour into the world if you're stuck in a time loop. Yeah.
Wow. And that's the piece that people are going to have the difficulty with letting go. And as we start this conversation, is that they've been doing this thing to themselves. No one's denying that that thing happened. No one's denying it was difficult. No one's saying it was painful. It's hurtful.
It's very hard for people. That story that I told at the start of this podcast, that's very hard for people to get.
Yeah.
They want to have a monster in their story, and they do not want to see the part of them that was a resonant match for whatever went on. It's really hard for people
Have a
to.
look around at the people that are singing the same songs as you, are doing the same things, going to the therapies, going to the this, and are they really happy? And you know the tree with their fruits, their behaviours, and the way they speak. And if that's not bringing you in the direction and sailing the way you want to go, peace, love, joy, which you say you want, then it's then start time to start murmurating with a different crowd,
Yeah.
and sing a different, and just try it for a minute.
Yeah.
Try it and speak to the people that
Yeah.
are going in this direction, and are they really feeling joy? How do they speak? How do they talk about the mother? How do they talk about their creativity? What are they putting out into the
Yeah.
world?
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's very evidential.
Yeah, yeah. When you kind of grok the people that you're in the company of, what are they interested in? Are they still staying kind of victimy in certain stuff? Then I'm not really doing it. I don't really want to be around it. Do you know, I'm very cautious about the environments that I'm in and
Yeah.
who I hang out with. I'm very cautious,
Yeah, yeah.
especially now, because I don't like being in environments where there is stuff that is under rug swept and is not being grokked or changed. I'm not into it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Getcha. Wow, this has been a journey. We'll wrap it up, and I always ask this question: is there anything that we spoke about that you'd love people to take away from this interview? Is there any final pearls of wisdom that you'd like to share with us, me,
I think
with the crew?
I think that the idea of simplicity is helpful. So people that watch this, start to think about what you're thinking about. Start to engage that metacognition and ask yourself, what is the awareness in me that is aware of that thinking? There's awareness, and I am aware of that thinking, which means you're not that thinking.
Brilliant.
That would be it.
That's it. Like, if you can grok that and you start that
It would
process,
be a big
you
change.
start to separate. You start to detach yourself, parse yourself away from
Yeah.
it, and then it sucks you back
Exactly.
in. Deadly. What a conversation.
That was great.
That's gonna be a piece for people to digest.
Yeah.
Deadly, deadly. Right, so that's a wrap. As always, thanks to my pal Niall Reilly from Rooney Media Graphics. You need any graphic design done, he's your man. He's been supporting me from get-go. The girls from Shannon's Hope Line doing great work in the Liberties. And then thanks to the Liberties Community Project for allowing me to use their building to record these podcasts and the work that I do in the world. It's really, really helpful. If you've enjoyed this conversation, share with people. It's super, super beneficial. If you have any comments or something that you'd like to say, let me know. If people want to connect with you and work with you and explore more about you, where can they find you?
A good idea would be for people to go to superherosatsang.com and then come to a superhero satsang event. That'd be a good idea to explore more of this.
If you dare.
If you dare.
There's a risk involved.
There's a big risk involved.
You're gonna have to die to your personality, breaking a habit, being yourself. So as always, thanks so much. I really appreciate you supporting the podcast, sharing it with people, and giving me your love. Have a beautiful day, and be kind and gentle, and stop telling yourself lies. Stop telling yourself porkies.
God bless you.
God bless you. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank